Hello, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. So, welcome to FTC's first general body meeting of this school year. My name is Leila Smith. I was the historian for last school year. I'm currently standing in for our current president, Chantal, who's feeling a little bit under the weather, but is still here manning the chat if you have any questions. You'll also be hearing from Dominic a little bit later, another FTC member. I would like to thank you all for joining us. So without further ado, we can go ahead and get started. Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, so a little bit about us is FTC is an official student organization here at UCF. We are dedicated to helping our members pursue careers in technical communication. Like it says here, we work together to master the skills we will need once we graduate to create a kind of documentation for technical processes. So everything from writing instructions to designing user-friendly websites. We are partnered with STC, the Society of Technical Communication. It's a professional organization for technical communicators. I can say in my experience, both STC and FTC have been a great resource, and there's always someone willing to help out if you need it. So a few benefits of FTC membership is receiving career guidance and knowledge. You can take the step to grow beyond the classroom. Opportunities such as our mentoring program, guest speaker presentations, and more are intended to help guide you on your career path. Another one is developing your professional skills. Joining FTC leadership or taking part in any of the volunteering opportunities we have throughout the semester and next semester will gain you valuable experience and skills that can be put on your resume. We can also help you get published, and overall, we're just here to see you succeed. You will also have the opportunity to network with students and professionals. Networking is obviously invaluable in one's career. Through FTC, you can make connections that can last a long time and even lead to your next job. You can meet other tech comm students, colleagues, and future coworkers. A few of our flagship programs, we have obviously our general body meetings and socials. We have monthly general body meetings from skill sharing workshops to guest speakers and more. We also have socials including movie nights, game nights, and more. I know we've been bowling, mini golfing, we got pizza. There's a lot of fun there. We also have the STC FTC annual joint meeting. Our panel speaks to a topic that is accessible to those of all experience levels, especially for students and early career professionals. Furthermore, we have our mentoring program. It's in collaboration with our sister organization, STC Florida. It's a yearly mentoring program, and it can help you establish in the field. I'm a part of this program. It's been a great experience for me. I very much recommend it. So some more programs we have is Spark STEM Fest. You can help create, present an interactive booth through K through 12 students at the Orlando Science Center. We've had a presence here for the past 4 years, and it's always a good time. My favorite one, STC Summit. I had the opportunity to go this year. It's a really great event. You can volunteer and learn about the latest research and insights directly at our field's premier annual conference. This is also a great opportunity to meet people and just bond with other club members. For scholarships and internships, you can follow our mailing list on Discord. You'll be the first to receive details about scholarships and opportunities across the industry. So this is how you apply for an FTC membership. You can scan the QR code on the screen or visit the link. Official members get signed up to FTC's mailing list and are the first to hear about FTC/STC opportunities, networking, guest speaker, and skill sharing events, job and internship listings, the annual STC FTC mentoring program and joint meeting, and STC's Technical Communication Summit. Here are some of our available resources. We have the TechCom major brochure Getting Started in TechCom site, and we have a bunch of job searching resources, and obviously the mentoring program that we discussed a little bit about earlier. Again, highly recommend that, as well as all the other resources we have. I encourage you to take advantage as many as you can. All are very helpful. Yes, and Chantal went ahead and dropped the link tree. So now you'll be hearing from Dominic.
Thank you, Leela. Hi, my name is Dominic. I am a member of the FTC Communications Committee. So, a little about STC and the Florida chapter. STC is the eminent organization for tech writers, editors, and others across the nation. Started several decades ago and is constantly evolving with the times. The organization is divided into many chapters across the nation, and they all meet once a year at the STC Summit, as Leela explained. At the summit, you meet, again, she said, you meet new people, you learn new things, practical things, and new stuff in the discipline. STC offers a student membership, which you can renew every year, and you can join things like SIGs or special interest groups that focus on a variety of things like technical editing, instructional design, and user experience. It also trains its members using its own certification called the CPTC, or Certified Professional Technical Communicator, and that stays with you for life. It also publishes Intercom magazine, which I like to think of as kind of like, think of the summit except without meeting people. It's mostly just the bare bones, like learning about new stuff. It's pretty cool. And of course, we at FTC partner with STC Florida. They provide mentors for the mentorship program. They also welcome students all the time. If you want to volunteer for them, it's a great way to get new experience. If you want to write to them and get your stuff published, this is another way to gain experience. You can send your articles to memo to members, which, if there's if there's a topic you like or something you can relate to TechCom in your daily life, send it to them and they'll publish it. And of course, if you want to go further than that, you can always become part of their leadership by offering to become part of their board, and that's where you'll be able to take part in elections and big decisions going forward. So, why become a leader? Student leaders in FTC are the foundation of the club, of course. Hold on here. Yeah, so FTC leaders do gain valuable teamwork and collaboration skills, technical communication experience like writing, design, communications, web management, and they can learn how to craft an excellent resume, which is always attractive to employers. The leadership are divided into two camps, if you will. Officers, which are the president, vice president, treasurer, secretary, and event coordinator. And there are three committees: communications, websites, and publications. In the following two slides, we will go over what each of those do. So for the officers, there are five, as I mentioned before. The president oversees the leadership team and club proceedings, coordinates the planning and hosting of FTC events, and handles administrative tasks for the club. The vice president assists the president with her duties, assumes president's responsibilities in their absence, and is also the chair of the communications committee. The treasurer maintains an accurate account of club funds, leads club fundraising efforts like t-shirt sales and more. The secretary takes note of the general body meetings, any leadership meetings for FTC's records and reference, maintains member records and information, and finally publishes meeting records to the YouTube page. And finally, the event coordinator helps organize the planning and hosting of FTC events and acts as a liaison to potential guest speakers and collaborators. It also helps with some decision making. Then we go to committees. There are three: communications, publications, and website. Communications committee supports FTC's promotional and outreach efforts. You can say if there's an event going on and you want to create a flyer for it, you say, oh, if you're on that committee, you can say, oh, I can make that. I can make a graphic, or I can design, drop the whole flyer and send it there, and put it on Discord and send it out to the people who send stuff on the newsletters. Publications committees members are writers. They write TechCom articles for FTC. They help our members get published on our website and through STC's members newsletter. And finally, the website committee maintains and updates FTC's website, including making posts to FTC's WordPress website and uploading and recording to our YouTube channel. I am currently a communications committee member. It's a lot of fun being part of the committees, and you can be you can be a part of any number of these committees if you want, either only one or all of them, depending on how ambitious you are, if you want to take on more stuff. It's a lot of fun, especially if you're creative, because you get to design stuff and you get to write. So I highly recommend this. And finally, we have our September events. September's fall in general is a fun time because a lot of stuff goes on. So obviously today is our first general body meeting. Hello. The 15th is when leadership applications are due by 11:59. I highly recommend it. Becoming a leader in FTC is a lot of fun. You make a lot of friends, and of course, you get to have some say in what goes on. Make sure to have it in by midnight because the 17th is when the fall elections are going to happen for the applications. And on the 19th is when STC Florida is going to have its summit panel. If you would like to join the summit and gain, all the benefits that comes from going there, make sure to go to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. You'll meet people from FTC. You'll figure out what needs to be done. And finally, on October 2nd is when the mentoring program interest meeting happens. If you're also interested in the mentorship program, you can go there and sign up and meet new people.
Dominic,
Yes.
can I say can I ask a question here? Can we go back one slide and could we go back to the previous slide? Okay, so this is the first general body meeting, and I thought on the second meeting we would have elections. Is that right?
I'm simply going on the excuse me.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are going to be having elections on the second meeting. So the leadership applications are due the Sunday night, but then our next meeting is on the 17th, and that's when we'll be doing elections. So correct, second meeting.
Okay, so I'm just trying to be clear because we have new people here. If you want to run for office in FTC, you have to have an application in due by the 15th, and then we'll have an election on the 17th. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and then we'll all meet as a group on the 17th, and Dr. Carolyn Glasshoff, she'll oversee the elections to make sure everything's okay. I just want everyone to be sure of those timelines. In the past, we haven't had that application thing due before the election. We just kind of put people up, and then we decided if we can vote for them or not, if they should be elected, who should be elected, and then we did the application afterward. So that's just my comment. I guess what I'm trying to ask is, does SGA demand that we have leadership applications due by 11:59 p.m. if you're just going to run for office and not necessarily be elected, but just run for office?
I believe Chantel is answering that in the chat right now.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Chantel. Thank you. So is Dominic going to continue or what?
That is, I believe, the last slide, second to last slide of the presentation. So that's it. So yes, I apologize for that. So thank you all for joining this evening. I'm glad we could show this. Please, by all means, try to become a leader, because when I first signed up to FTC back in 22, I signed up I've really actually just inquired to be the secretary for this club, and I honestly didn't really expect to get it, but I did, and it turned out really well. Met a lot of friends, um, gained a lot of skills, and I'm here to this day. So yeah, again, 15th is the day, the final day if you want to become, if you want to sign up for leadership, email us at ucf.ftc@gmail.com, and we'll hold the elections on the 17th.
Well, maybe John Clement, who's now in STC, and he's been the past president of this organization, could say a little bit about his experience in running for office and getting elected, and his time as the president at FTC.
I believe John is actually here. John, would you be willing to speak?
Oh, hey JD, hey Dominic, hey everybody. Yeah, definitely I can tune in. I'm mainly here to spectate and cheer everybody on uh, as a now long past leadership person. But I would mirror everything Dominic said about my experience in leadership. So yeah, I'm John. I was in leadership in the club for a few years, graduated in 22, and leadership also helped me gain a lot of career skills, friends as well, um, including so many from this call alone. Um, Not just, well, networking is one important part of, being in the club, being in leadership, but also, of course, those connections that last even beyond the professional world and everything. Lots of great memories and credentials gained through this club. Um, and to speak on STC Florida, um, as the slides kind of talked about earlier, um, STC Florida is the organization where, students are also welcome to join. It's if you want to take that extra step into TechCom. There are a lot of great professional events from there, things we partner with from them, such as the mentoring program. I've had great mentoring experiences, great summit conference experiences, all those big things you can gain through just diving deep into our club and through STC Florida. And I've transitioned into leadership in STC Florida too. So long story short, the sky's the limit once you really take that step into getting involved in FTC, into leadership, and then seeing where things take you on from there too.
Well, I thought you could also say something about how you were reluctant to run for office your first time,
Oh
just
yeah.
like Dominic. Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I did not want to. I was very scared about joining leadership when I first joined. It was, I think, started my sophomore year, and Dr. Applin suggested, "Oh, you've come to an FTC meeting. You should join leadership." I was scared. I hated public speaking. I was much quieter then. Didn't know what would involve. Um, all of the above. Big pile of nerves. Um, but then by the end of that school year, it just really, brought in all those great experiences, and it came to be really worth it. And even developed into those networking, public speaking, everything. So yeah, was very, very scared at first, but the encouragement very much helped with making those lifelong experiences happen.
But
Yeah,
with
that's
that, you also moved up to the national level as a liaison for the Florida chapter 2. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, and I can also kind of tie this into the summit,
Sure.
because one thing that was really cool is, kind of how being involved in FTC and STC Florida and kind of bringing that as a talking point to other places like the summit really gets you plugged into places in a lot of cool ways. Kind of like, you have Chantal, who is the president of the organization and has been a fantastic, amazing one at that. And just an amazing friend too. So just brings those experiences and qualities into the summit where I was able to network a lot and even soon, spoiler, a little birdie told me we'll be presenting on the national level at some point in the near future. So stuff like that can happen when you show you're passionate about TechCom leadership. And just lots of others in this call, like Dominic, for example, as well. Also tag teaming STC Florida leadership with me and making lots of great connections. So yeah, and that's just kind of one of the ways that I've gotten involved too. Just, once you go to conferences like that, you meet lots of great people, get involved and get to kind of volunteer in even bigger groups and meet even more experienced tech writers just by, putting your name in places saying, hey, I love TechCom. I want to volunteer and wherever you can put me. And then it sort of just happens.
I know Chantal she can't, her voice is hurting, so I thought I would say a few things and kind of go over some things that were said. I promise this will be the last meeting I come to, so you'll be happy to know that maybe. But I'm JD Applin. I've been sponsoring this very good Student Government Association Club. It's an official SGA club. That means we can get money for things like sending students to the summit. Last year they had it in Minnesota, and I talked to Applin. That's okay. So anyway, last year they had it in Minnesota, and the full conference was paid for apparently from SGA funds, and then they did a little money on the side. So I just want to go through a couple of definitions. I know just about everyone in here knows these things, but I just want to be clear. The STC, that's the Society of Tech Communication. That's the nationwide and actually international professional group of technical communicators. In Florida, we have a Florida chapter of the STC, and the strongest chapter in all of Florida is the one that is in Central Florida. All the other local chapters, the little parts of STC, have withered away, but ours remains. And one of the reasons ours has done so well, and again, this is the STC, not FTC, the local STC has done really great in large part because many of our students who join FTC, which is the student club that we're talking about tonight, end up in leadership positions in STC. And a couple of people have taken it even to the next level. John has moved up to the national level, as had Bethany Aguad. I saw Ben Bowles here tonight too. That's Bethany's brother. She was on the national, I forget what committee she was on, but that's a big deal. That made us look really great. So there's the Future Tech Communicators, FTC. Then there's STC. That's the national group. And we also have a local Central Florida STC chapter. That's just local group. That's all that means. So when we say STC, we're talking about national and local. When we say FTC, we're talking about the student club. FTC was a club invented by students in 2002. So I'm showing my age here. They came up and they said they wanted a student club, and they asked me to sponsor it. And I said, sure. And it's a great club for this reason. There's the bowling club, and there's the skiing club, and there's all these other clubs at UCF you can join. But this club actually helps students get jobs. And I really like that. And that's why I've stayed with sponsoring it for as long as I have. You should know that Dr. Carolyn Glasshoff, my colleague, is co-sponsoring this club with me. So she'll be here in a couple of weeks when you do the elections. So that's Dr. Carolyn Glasshoff. She's the co-sponsor. So I'm doing this week. She's doing 2 weeks from now. Let's talk about the summit. It sounds like something from White Noise, the novel we've all read or are reading now. The summit. The summit is the national conference that everyone in STC, many people in STC go to. It's called the summit, and it meets once a year. I think it's usually in May. And we sent, how many people did we send last year? Chantal, I know you can't speak. John, you went. 8?
It was 11, actually.
11 people. That's amazing. So 11 of our students were able to get on a plane and stay in a hotel room and go to the summit in Minneapolis and stay there for 4. Yes, Jonathan, White Noise by Don DeLillo, yes. Okay. We're able to stay there for what, 4 or 5 days, and that was all on SGA's dime. They paid for everything. At least that's what Marilyn Wynn told me last week. I talked to her. She went. So you can go to a conference, and when you go to if you belong or connect with the local STC people, you meet technical writers who are actually working in the field, not your professors who kind of know some stuff. They think they know everything, but we don't. Okay, so they'll teach you a lot about the real world stuff, how to get a job, how to network. A lot of people you meet might be hiring you someday. So it's a good place to start. So the local STC people, they're great people to know. They're very helpful. And many of them will serve, if you want, as your mentor. They can mentor you through 3 or 4 or 5 meetings. I forget what it is. So when we were talking about the mentoring program, that's what they were talking about. I just think it's a fantastic experience to actually be an undergraduate or a graduate and then connect with someone who's working in the field of tech communication and have them tell you, here's how you do your resume. Here's what to do. Here's how to write an application letter. Here's the meetings to go to. So that's the mentoring program. And if we could go back to the leadership, if I could talk a little bit about that, and that's primarily why I'm here tonight. We have 7 posts, I think. And Chantal, you might correct me, but in the past, it's always been, we always had to have at least 4 dedicated officers, president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary. If we don't have at least 4 people, we don't have a club. So we need at least 4 people to step up, and then we can have an event coordinator. And then I saw Dominic was talking about some of the communication committees to keep the websites up. Someone might want to answer Juno's chat comment. I don't know, Juno. I don't know if it's on the FTC link tree yet. So I think it probably will be. Okay. So I'm trying to kind of go over these things that Dominic spoke, and we spoke about all these other things, but there's STC, there's FTC. You should know what the summit is. It sounds funny when you hear it first. We have a mentoring program, which to me is the greatest thing that FTC does. And again, within FTC, another student about 12 years ago, Bonnie Spivey, she came up with the mentoring program. She figured it out. She figured out we had to have a mentoring program. We did all this other stuff. Why not have a mentoring program? So again, all the best ideas in the FTC, they don't come from me. They come from the students. It's been a great organization. So if you don't think you can be the president, maybe you can, and maybe you should talk to Chantal. Maybe Chantal will run again. I think Chantal was a fantastic president this last year. She did a tremendous amount of things, making it easy for people to get to the summit and to do everything else. You can run for vice president, treasurer or secretary. And then there's some other, can we roll that up, Dominic, or whoever has that slide there? Communications publication website. We need people to do those things too. Those are not as important as the first 4 that you saw on the first page. If we can go back up. I know I keep asking, yeah. So we need a president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary. And some people who are already in office this year might be running again for the same office, and that's fair. That's fine. That's good. Again, Chantal did a tremendous job last year, and it was a tremendous amount of work. She was so easy to work with, and she really organized that trip to the summit really well. So I would say, and this is, I always ask John to talk about his experience. He didn't think he could do any of these things. I had him, it's hard to believe. I had him when he was a freshman. I don't think I've ever had an ENC 3241 student as a freshman. I had John in an honors class when he was a freshman, and he didn't think he could do anything in the club. And I said, heck yeah, I've seen your writing. You're a great writer. You can be a great president, or you can start off as vice president. He sort of moved his way up. But a lot of people I see here on this list, I've already seen some of the ways you guys write. I've had some of you guys in my classes. You guys can do these jobs if you want to. What's great about being in these leadership positions is you can put that on your resume that you are a treasurer or secretary. Here's what that means. Local tech writers who are hiring will see, oh, well, she was the treasurer of FTC. Her peers elected her to be the treasurer or the secretary or the event coordinator or the vice president or the president. That puts you a step ahead. That shows people that you did more than did well in your classes. You actually joined a professional organization as a student that was connected to a professional organization. You joined FTC, the UCF club that is connected with STC, and you rub shoulders with people who are working at Lockheed Martin and Siemens and L3Harris and many other places, Disney. And that looks real. Everything else being equal, you know, this person has done more than do well in the classes, which is the most important thing. So I would suggest, you know, this is a good career opportunity. Just to start, it's a line on a resume. It's only one line, but it shows that as an undergraduate, you are already becoming involved in your field, and that speaks a lot, I think, to, you know, to your gumption, how much you guys want to do, you know, how successful you're going to be. So I've talked a lot, and I'm sorry to blather on. I just wanted to kind of give the presentation I always give every year, so everyone sees what I think we're about. And maybe someone else can speak to some of these things or ask questions. I don't know if all the questions were answered.
I can speak a little bit about the internship I did this summer that FTC actually was a big part in. If anyone's interested in hearing.
Good. Who's speaking? I just want to. Who's?
Leela.
Speaking.
Okay. Good. Okay.
So this past summer, I had the opportunity to intern at L3Harris. We actually had an interest meeting for this internship through FTC. So we got to hear a little bit from the management who kind of runs that internship. So I kind of got some insight, and it's been a really great opportunity. I'm really lucky to be in FTC and to have gotten this opportunity. Being on the leadership, I think definitely helped with the position. And I've been very, it was a great experience, and it really has helped my career so far. And I'm now actually working part-time with L3Harris after the internship. So FTC can help you in a lot of ways, and I just encourage you all to get as involved as possible if you're able to with whatever time that you have. So that's kind of all I have to say.
And that's really great. And who was the person who put out the internship?
It was L3Harris Technologies, and I believe the point of contact was Melissa Olds for the internship.
Okay, and Melissa Olds was a past UCF student. Okay.
Yes, yeah. And she did the internship,
right,
the same one I did, and now she works there. So
what's great about L3Harris is they always have a couple of internships a year, and they're always good. They're always good. Some internships, I don't want to scare anyone away, they're not so great. I've heard really great things where they actually make you do something and learn something. It's not just kind of doing busy work. You really learn something, and they give you these tasks and they challenge you. Internships are great too, but it really helps to be, again, an FTC. It helps you get an internship too. I've heard that too. Who also is at L3Harris, John? Who's the person who hired you? I know Sharon Olds is there, but who else?
Yeah, so it was Melissa Rios who hired me. And so she's like her, Melissa Olds, and we have a few others. One who's named Sam Perillo, I believe the last name is, Caleb Crawford. There's about 5 or 6 UCF people on our team, which is cool. A few who have been in FTC, a few who just picked it up from outside the club. But yeah, a good few UCF, a good few of us UCF folks.
Okay. Well, I know Melissa Rios has also, in fact, she's come to campus to talk to us about getting more of our students. So I met her personally. I met her in the classroom building that, I work in and many of you take classes in. So Melissa Rios always, if she's looking for an internship, she really likes to give one to a UCF student because they've had good luck with UCF students. There's a heck of a lot of people at Lockheed Martin who are ex-TechCom program people who are also in FTC. Okay, so we have a good reputation. The program has the tech writing program has a good reputation, but also FTC, which you don't have to join, but you can join, is worth your time. If I thought this was a student club that just wasted people's time, I would not sponsor it because I don't want you to waste your time.
Yeah, and Lockheed is also great for sure. They have the CWEP program. I don't have direct experience with it, but if anyone else does, they can speak on it. But yeah, Lockheed partners with us as well, or likes to bring in UCF students.
Well, are there any I think other people should talk. I didn't mean to talk this much. And Chantel, last year, Chantel did all the stuff, but are there any questions about any of the individual leadership positions? Because maybe that should be asked now. I know Dominic had a slide up there for us, but
Actually, I do. It's not to say that I may want to serve as an officer this year, but if I wanted to serve as the secretary, how would you keep like a role of people who are inside the club? Do you do it by paper? Do you do it by an electronic form of some kind that you can scan a QR code and take you to the website? I'm not too certain how you would do that, perhaps. It's online? Okay. Thank you, Chantal.
yeah, I think, do you work, maybe you just, don't you guys just use Zoom and Zoom has the record of who was there? Google Forms and Sheets, okay. Okay, cool, all right. Okay. And I think I was the secretary of our union for a year. What I had to do is I had to get together and work out maybe the what the agenda would be for the next meeting. I don't know how that ever worked with Chantel or if Chantel just figured that out. But there was a couple of other things secretaries do. Okay. This any other interests?
I should make a point to say too that even though my major is in electrical engineering, uh, being involved in this club is actually pretty valuable for experience in technical communication, and it also allows for a diversification of any sort of skill set. Um, I know we were talking about officer positions, but holding an officer position in any club is great experience. Last year I got to be the professional development chair, and I would have been able to serve as another year, but unfortunately there's been infighting. I won't go into more detail about that. But it's very good experience. It's because you get to do the things that you think you would be very passionate about. And that's the way I feel. If you feel like that you're having a lot of fun doing this kind of work, then do it. It's a simple moral thing to do, I guess you would say. But Priscilla has a question. I'll let her ask a question.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to ask, like, what happens if more than one person applies for a role? Like, how would it be settled? Would we like have to write a speech reasoning why we want the position?
So last year, The way we did it last year was in the leadership application, you kind of give a little blurb about yourself. So there you can say why you want the specific position, but then we do a vote in that meeting based on the people who are in the meeting currently. I think we're doing it like that again this year, but Chantal, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. So it's kind of like a live vote, basically.
Okay, thank you.
And you know, I think this, I've heard the speeches in the past too. It doesn't have to be the Gettysburg Address, just 2 minutes. Just, I'm interested in the club. Here's why. Here's my background. I like to write. I want to meet other people. I've been a secretary of a school. When I was in high school, I was a secretary. I was a vice president of a high school club, or maybe one at Valencia or Seminole. You don't have to split the atom, okay? It's not like an assignment I would ask you right in the class. I mean, it's just tell us who you are in 2 minutes. That's all you got to do. People can get a sense for who you are. Tell people why you want to do it. But also make it about the people in the club. It's not all about you. You're going to say, here's what when I say when you write an application letter, you always say, what are you going to do for the person that you're applying for the job for? So anyway, so it doesn't have to be a big deal. I would say this, that if someone wants to be the president, you should have some experience as maybe the secretary or treasurer or vice president before you run for president. Because the president is the person who has to sort of know, the president is like the president, right? The president sort of sees whatever everything is going on and has to kind of delegate to others what to do and work with them to set up the next meetings. And the president, of course, doesn't have to, at any meeting, like give a conference paper. The president just sort of organizes meetings, and then other people come in and talk. So the president is not giving like a semester end oral report every 3 weeks or every month. You know, they're the head organizer, and they're assisted by the vice president. But still, if you want to be the president, you should have some experience to some of the other roles. It would be hard just to walk into. But if you've been in FTC for a year and you kind of know, and you went to the summit and kind of know all the things going on, you know, that might be okay. I guess people could maybe make applications for more than one FTC leadership position. Is that okay, Chantal? I know you can't speak.
You can apply for as many as you want. The document, you're able to select for the executive positions as well as the non-executive positions, as well as the committees. So if you want to run for multiple positions, that's great. You can put that on there. Or if you just want to run for a committee or be part of a committee, I guess. They're all on there.
Okay. Well, anyway, the first four, we need four. We need the big four first, and then we can start doing the other things. But all I want, if we can't get 4 people, SGA will not allow us to be an official organization. So we need at least 4. If we have 4, then we can have a club, and then we can get money from SGA to do some things that will help you with your careers. Okay, so it's a student club. So that's key. I guess if I could talk, Dominic, are you still scrolling? Could you scroll back down to the communications? I say this every year because there are about 6 or 7 FTC websites kind of floating out there in the ether. If anyone wants to be in charge of the website, please just use the old website and just keep adding to it, because there's, you know, I see people from 2008, you know, here's, you know, so let's just, if you can find out who was doing the website last year, just get the password, and then let's maintain the website. Let's not start a new website every year, just because we don't have that history, and it gets confusing, and people will, people will email me about a website that they looked at in 2015. And I'll say, well, I don't know. That happened a long time ago. Where'd you get that information? They say it's a website and it's out there. And once a website is up, it's really hard to get taken down because you have to show that you're the person who started it and know the password. And we've had people start websites, be the website person, and then graduate and then just leave a website hanging out there. So let's stay with the website that we have. Anyway, that's something, and I think the website is very important to us. That's kind of a primary way for the officers to communicate to us. But what about the Facebook? I don't see the Facebook site up here. Oh, you're still doing that, right? So you're not going to do Facebook anymore? Okay, so Shant, okay. Okay. So we're not going to do Facebook anymore. Okay. I would say, let me just say something about Facebook. I have a Facebook page and like 2 people on it, but and sometimes Facebook is an easier way in for some people because they're on Facebook first. But if you want to just go with some of the other ways to connect, that's good too. LinkedIn works. And I was going to ask, I always ask this question too, is there going to be a LinkedIn workshop this year? How to do a good LinkedIn page? I don't know if you would plan that, Chantal. Okay, so I know it's a spoiler, but STC Florida is looking into what for a year? I'm not quite sure what that means, John. I think anyone could, well, people can just talk if they want, right? Just talk. Oh, okay, doing a LinkedIn presentation, very good, okay. A lot of people aren't on LinkedIn, but you should be on LinkedIn. You don't have to wait until you graduate to be in LinkedIn. And one of the best ways to start LinkedIn is to go to the workshop, start a LinkedIn page, and at that workshop, link to the 9 or 10 other people who are going to that workshop, and then you got to start. And once you start doing LinkedIn, it just kind of grows because people will see people and they'll see you're connected to someone else and they'll think, oh, I know that guy, and they'll connect to you. So you should start LinkedIn. And if you just go to the LinkedIn workshop that shows you how to start a LinkedIn page, that's a great start too. Over time, you'll end up meeting hundreds of people over the years, and that's a good professional platform for you. So.
I want to say one small thing about STC really quick. That is, if you would like to join it, by all means, volunteer. Volunteer your time, volunteer your effort. That is how you get into it. I mentioned earlier in the chat that I recently became one of the directors at large, which is basically, it's a board member that is not necessarily specific in one way or another. We have some making power in the elections. We don't do any specific thing. Like we're not like the treasurer or the secretary. We simply help out. But basically, if you would like to get up to the next step, volunteer your time. I helped out with STC Florida by updating their policies and procedures, and I'm currently working to improve the website as well. So that is how you do it. And also, I mean, my God, befriend the people in your local STC chapter, because not only is it a great way to make professional connections, but you become friends with them as well, and it helps you get to the next step. I first got there by getting into the mentorship program, and my mentor was and is again part of STC Florida. And it really comes down to networking, because you start there and you work your way up, and of course, combine with effort on your part. That's how you get up there.
I actually have a quick question. For the committees, are there going to be separate meetings just for the specific committees? Like, how is that going to work? Or are we just going to like communicate via Discord? You know, are there going to be like scheduled meetings that aren't just like the general body meetings? Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And I can just add a comment on the value of being in leadership and everything too. Networking and developing skills is definitely a great part of it. I saw that there was some messages in the chat about which committees might be good to join for someone new. And yeah, really any joining leadership on any of the committees is very good for someone new, since they're lower stakes in the officer positions, or less so lower stakes, but more so like less time commitment. And one thing about our community, both FTC and even the professionals in STC, everyone is just really friendly, really willing to teach you things, learn together. If you don't know something, you can have a lot of fun just trying things out. If you've never made graphics before, there's colleagues, friends on the team who will kind of teach you what they've done and help you get up to speed. If you've never written articles before, we can help you do that. If you've never used or created posts for a website or social media, we'll help you out with that. And everyone is really friendly and wants to kind of grow alongside you. So never feel like there's not a place or not that you don't have the skills or anything like that to join leadership, because it's really one big growing experience. And yeah, everyone is here to make sure that you have a good time in leadership and also get good things out of leadership too.
Also, that being said, if you guys have any questions that you don't want to just put in the chat, feel free to reach out to any of the leadership on Discord. We're all on there. I know I'll answer if you send me a message. I'm on the Discord, and everyone's very friendly, so don't be afraid to ask anything. There are no stupid questions in this case. So yeah.
Well, Chantel, I think, are we done? Would you say, Chantel, is everything been done? Or Dominic? I didn't want to run the meeting, but Chantel's voice is not doing so great, so she's
I
done.
think,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think if no one else has anything, then yes, we can conclude.
Okay. I would just say, run for an office. If you don't get it, so what? If you don't get it this semester, you'll get it the following year or the next semester. And come anyway, and come and vote and join this club. This is a fantastic opportunity. So it's good to see you, and it's good to see the new people. I see some of the new names in a couple of my courses. It's really great to see you guys.